live! Welcome everybody to the Fighting Fit Show, possibly the most anticipated episode ever. Peter Lynch, the man behind the camera, the man behind the magic. He's on the podcast. He has lost 35 kilo, 78.5 pounds, or 5.6 stone. Peter Lynch, welcome to the show.
Yay, I made it.
This
It's a great
could
time.
possibly be our first conversation outside the gym,
It's possible, yeah.
but I'm still in the gym, so.
No, I can see.
All right, so guys, a little bit about Pete before we get started. This man has not only lost the weight, but he's changed his body, he's changed his mind. He managed to be the biggest lifter in Fighting Fit, 232.5 kg worth of a deadlift, 175 kg worth of a back squat, legs of pure iron, pure might. Really took it upon himself to start making fitness a priority. And when the level method was about, he managed to get himself up to purple. So really an amazing journey. Pete, tell us a little bit more about the origins and how you kind of got in contact with Fighting Fit and how you became a fitness member, because you went a maybe not so traditional route.
Yeah, I mean, like I was doing a lot of freelance stuff out of college, and it was mostly like I was doing weddings, and Stephen's sister Becky actually got in contact with me and made the website for her company that she was running at that time, and obviously did a good job for her. And then she mentioned it to Stephen. Fighting Fit had only been on the go, I think, a year or two, and he needed a new website built and needed new promo videos. So that's how it all got started. And then just over the years, just doing different jobs for the gym. And then obviously I was very heavy at that point. I think I was about 140 kilos.
Oh, actually, if that's the case, then I think the heaviest I have for you on record is 127. So we can even add another, what's that bad maths here, 12, 13 kilo extra, roughly
Yeah,
another 26 pounds, roughly another 2 stone on top of that. So we're talking like 7.5 stone worth of weight loss. It's absolutely insane.
yeah, and to be honest, I don't think that was the heaviest I've ever been. And we can get into that later on because there was a point where I got really, really heavy, and like during COVID and stuff. Um, but just I was just in the gym nearly every day. Then during the week, just doing different videos, filming with you and Chris, doing workout videos. There's a funny video where I think it was one of the first workout videos we ever did. Just Chris is just there as like a prop almost, and you're like just like talking the whole way through, and Chris doesn't say a thing. Like,
Hilarious.
it's actually one of our most viewed videos as well.
High
Um,
intensity interval workout.
yeah, it's actually I think that's what it is actually. But Stephen just got like me and you would chat a bit and like, oh, did you ever think about like working out and stuff? Like, what's your history and stuff? And I had no history at all. Like PE was all I had was in school. It was the only experience I had of working out. And Stephen just said, if you want, we'll offer you like free membership, for working for us. And that's how it all started, really.
No thanks, I think was your first stance.
Oh yeah, I didn't say yes straight away. I took a bit of convincing for me to start the classes, like, but yeah.
It did definitely. Like I remember, guys, to anybody who obviously wasn't aware, and we're talking back circa 2016, then, are we?
26. Well, yeah, I mean it was after the first, so like Blackthorn 2.0. So I didn't train before the track was put in and like all that stuff was done. I
Yeah,
didn't
sorry, but
train.
you were working with us even before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were working with us back in the, yeah, I remember, because that high intensity video, that was like nothing was done to the gym. That was everything. Obviously, we still had our first kind of refurb, but yeah, back
Yeah.
not 2.0, that was 1.0. And then yeah, so to talk, definitely took some convincing. And back in those days, like obviously you had camera work and stuff like that, just to get up and down the stairs. Like I remember being a lumbering load, let's say, like it really was quite substantial. And then to see that climb to 232.5 kilo of a deadlift, 175 kilo of a squat, like, I mean, that's insane. just that physical transformation to go from somebody crumbling under their own weight to
Yeah.
throwing, three people's worth on their back and getting up and down. Like that is a hell of a transformation, and serious amounts of work had to go into that. So yeah, really, really impressive, Pete. And then so Stephen offered you the membership. Do you remember your first FF session?
Yeah, I remember being wrecked after the warm up, and just like getting down on the ground and getting back up was just the worst. Like it was just so hard just for my body just to get up off the ground. I think we were doing jumping jacks. And I remember like everything just hurt, like just bouncing on my own body weight. I couldn't take any more of it. I remember my first boxing session on a Saturday. And I remember I had Marco for shoulders and knees, and I nearly went out and got sick. Yeah, it was just too much for me at that point.
Yeah, listen, it's intense. That lactic acid can be the great leveler of the ego. Like you think,
Yeah.
listen, I'll just keep going. The body definitely has its limits, and that's why it is important that we just kind of stepstone our way there. But what was the kind of deciding factor from you from turning away from that? Because I remember talking to you, like I said, yeah, me and you were talking. You were recording all the videos. Haha, Pete, you do the exercise, I'll do the recording.
Yeah.
But like you seem to be very, very definitive that you were not getting into fitness. I remember you were getting Subway and stuff delivered to the
Yep.
gym when we were all there. And again, like, and listen, fair enough. Like, but it was very evident that you were in a very much the opposite culture that we were in at the time. Like you were just kind of doing your own thing. You weren't interested. What was it that made you make the switch and go, I know I will then, right? Go on, fine. He's a warm me down. What was it?
Well, when before we had made the switch to the HPU, so this is pre-COVID. I had just recently, before that, had just gotten the diagnosis of psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis,
Okay.
and um up until that point, it was just a skin issue. It was just I would have flare-ups on the skin, but then it started having an effect on the joints. And one of the main things was I couldn't actually walk properly. And like you were saying, like getting up and down the stairs was a chore. Like I was in pain most of the time. My feet would be swollen. Uh, I would have to get like shoe sizes up because my feet would just be that much swollen. Like I couldn't. I have to use like a shoehorn just to get my feet into the shoes.
Right.
And and when that got really bad, I was like, right, I need to do something. And I have free membership here. Why not just try it and see what happens? Um, and yeah, so it was really out of a health like emergency that if I didn't do something, it was just going to keep getting worse.
Yes, I've often heard it said, inspiration or desperation.
Oh, it was definitely desperation. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's the only thing that's ever worked for me. Actually, it's like I only work when I absolutely, or at least things that I have to do that are drastic change generally only happen when I absolutely have to. And I'm sure you're not alone in that. And then, so obviously you're working out for a period of time. You were saying that you kind of got heavy during COVID. So this is again a pre high performance unit. So what was the struggles during COVID? What happened? How did things change? How did that affect you?
Um, well, if it happened now, the same things wouldn't the results wouldn't be the same. I didn't have any of the habits that I have right now. I didn't have the self motivation that I have right now. And when COVID happened, I was just in the house the whole time. I didn't get out for walks. And similar to a lot of people, like takeaway was my only source of food, but I was buying takeout all the time, and the weight just piled up. Because psoriasis is related to like your diet. Diet is a big thing with psoriasis. That the more bad food that I ate, the worse my symptoms became, and no access to doctors, so I couldn't get an appointment to get like seen to by the dermatologist. So the stuff that I was using just wasn't working, and because the flare up just got so bad and that my body started to swell. So it was a combination of the food I was eating, like not exercising, but also my psoriasis got really bad and the body just flared up, just a lot of fluid. And so I ballooned way, way up.
Yeah, and this is after a stint of already losing some weight. So like you
Yeah.
probably had motivation, and then obviously you got the news, the world's locking down. Get into your house. But up until that point, everything was going well.
Yeah, I mean, like I think I'd lost a stone or just over a stone at that point, and I was kind of like staying at that weight for a while, and then COVID hit. Then yeah,
Interesting. And we open back up. We get into the high performance unit. Obviously, it's still kind of behind the scenes. We were in the high performance unit. Well, I suppose we were allowed open for a period of time back here while the high performance unit was kind of in maintenance, and then there was I think another phase of lockdown, and then we kind of made the move. We needed more space. We get into the high performance unit. It was me, you, Chris, social distancing ish.
yeah,
Around the
yeah,
high performance unit. There wasn't anybody else. It was just us. Did you start training then, or did you kind of wait until the classes back open and classes were in
yeah,
full swing?
yeah. It wasn't until the classes started back up and we had kind of gotten a hold of what like the level method that we were using. That you kind of knew what was going on, and like I went through the foundations with you, and like that was so hard because I think before that I hadn't really been training. Um, and there's a video if on my Instagram. It shows when we were doing deadlifts. Like that was my first time doing deadlifts before because we never did it over in the other place. We never had barbells.
Hmm.
So like I had never experienced a deadlift before, and I could barely lift. I mean, more than half the way I was it was a struggle for me. And you can see even in the video, like one of the symptoms from the flare up was like my hair started falling out as well. So it was a real like tough journey that I went through over COVID. Um, and then yeah, the level of method just gave me like the pathway to just hit all these goals. And like I would come in on Wednesdays, and that's when I started like lifting heavy, like deadlifts and squats. That's where I really caught like the bug for like fitness.
Yeah, the level method was such a cool way to do fitness. The grading system of martial arts or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, whatever way you want to put it down, and to be able to start something and have the next step literally right next to as blatant as day, and every once in a while a fair stretch, a fair jump, something to bridge the gap that might at the time seem impossible, and that's where the work is with that. And you managed to get to purple on that, purple, which again, you can say an awful lot about different body types and natural strength. And so obviously, like, listen, you had a propensity to strength. You deadlift. No, not to say that. As I said, you're coming in on Wednesdays. You're super consistent with your workouts. You're eating the protein, but to get 100, 232, it's like I don't think with the same amount of work I would get to that number. So whatever. You know, you had that natural ability that some people could write off. But the great thing about the level method was that it made your weaknesses become an area to focus on. So nobody can say that you got there again through natural ability. It was a grind.
Yeah.
In order to get the purple, you had to work on pull-ups, push-ups, running, lots of things that were probably super uncomfortable for you. What were some of your biggest obstacles and proudest achievements on the level method?
Um, like the pull-ups was the main thing. Like just hanging from the bar was, so difficult. I remember just in the warm-up to be dead hangs, and like with the psoriasis, obviously the joint pain, like I just couldn't grip the bar for too long. Never mind the fact that I weighed what I weighed. So when I like the thing that um I'm most proud of, surprisingly, is actually getting my 4 pull-ups, which is what got me the purple band. Um, like you can like deadlifts, yeah. I mean, so many like amazing like PBs and the deadlifts and whatever. But I had to the hardest thing I had to work on was my upper body strength and doing pull-ups to be able to pull my body weight over a bar like that. That was a big struggle for me.
It's interesting that because pull-ups to me are not that impactful, and deadlifts to me are massively impactful. So if anybody's curious, like Pete is like he's a big dude. What height do you Pete? 5'10", 5'11", 5'9"?
Yeah, five. I'd say 5'9.5", 5'10". Yeah,
So 5'9", 5'10", broad shoulder, broad waist, stocky build. That kind of body type has a tendency to be stronger at what we call objective strength. So heavy object, me lift, brute force strength. And then little whippets like me, I'm 5'7", I'm like 72 kilo or something. And so a little bit more narrow in the shoulder, more narrow in the waist, that kind of slender build. Stuff like push-ups and pull-ups and running, again, aren't going to be that difficult for me because it doesn't scale evenly. So the heavier you get, body weight work becomes tougher. And at a certain point, heavy lifts like 200 kilo to me is not the same as 200 kilo to Pete. And so, my first moment is one of my PB deadlifts because I had to work at that. And so, it's like it's not the number generally that is impressive. It's the challenge and the work they had to do and the noticing how far you are away. Like for example, like my PB deadlift is I think 182 and a half. And I'm super proud of that. Whereas like my PB and pull-ups could be 20. Pete would completely whitewash me in deadlifts, but his pull-ups maybe not as impressive, but still mean the absolute world. And again, that's why, because it's stepping outside your comfort zone and grinding at the things that are the most difficult. That's kind of where a lot of the progress is super satisfying. So amazing stuff. To come to be able to do pull-ups, obviously, you can say whatever you want about trying to lose weight for health reasons. If you are looking at yourself as an athlete and you want to start moving around, like we got to shed some weight. You were saying that during COVID, you kind of got to your heaviest. What was that weight? And then from that heaviest weight to purple, what was that kind of weight loss transformation? What was the difference there? Do you know?
I would say I was approaching 150. At my head, yeah. I don't have the exact number because obviously I stuck at home. I didn't have the bet. I don't think my scales were that accurate. I would just by knowing how I looked, I would say I was close to 150 kilos. Um, then by the time I got my 4 pull-ups, I think I was 103, 104.
And that wasn't the lightest that you got to. I think your lightest was 90.
99.4, I think is the lightest I've ever gotten.
Man, unbelievable. So yes, so some transformation. So a lot of work in the gym, no doubt about it, but a lot of work outside the gym then in terms of nutrition and activity. What kind of changes, even back in those early days? What was your approach to your nutrition and what needed to change? If you want to give a brief description of kind of what it was like before, maybe, and then what had to change and what tools and tactics you used to be successful.
Um, the biggest thing that I started to do was actually get those meals, like those made meals that you get in Dunn's or Tesco's. Like for me, it was because like living at home with mom and dad was going to be like for dinner, like so I would just say, "Right, I'm going to get these meals. I know exactly what I'm going to eat. I know the calories. I know if I'm going over or not. Tracking on my fitness pal was a huge thing. It's a big thing in our gym. Like track what you're eating, like know what you're eating, don't just guess it. And then another thing was like bringing lunch into work, because like you mentioned earlier, like I would order Subway into the gym like no problem, and I wouldn't like feel it guilty about it because to me it was like, oh, it's a sandwich, it's sort of healthy, but like when you track it, it's like 700-800 calories.
Yeah.
So it's like not just being ignorant was my main thing, and once I started to track what I was eating, planning what I was going to eat. And I'm kind of the person that I can eat the same thing every day, every week. It doesn't bother me at all. Like like when you see the pictures of my lunches are the same nearly every day. And dinners, go between. I usually have like 2 meals I go between each week. I might change it every so often, but just trying to stay consistent was the main thing that helped me in tracking.
Excellent. Yeah. So understanding what calories you are actually eating can, like, for example, like understanding, like, is Subway objectively bad? No. But in terms of the goal, if you got weight loss, is like, do you know that that's 800 calories? Do you know that that extra cookie is, another 180 or 190 or whatever like that? And so better the devil you know. And once you know the numbers, it empowers you to make a better decision. That's like, okay, well, maybe I'll have half a sandwich because, obviously, as I said, you're desperate at that point and you wanted to change and you needed to change. So with all that motivation and emotion behind you, all we need to do is put the right information in front of you and success will kind of happen naturally because you can just make better decisions. So, what about activity? Like, was getting out for walks? Was that kind of a big part of what you did? Were you storming them roads? How did you manage to account, or how did you budget your calories? Were you just, listen, I'm as active as I'm going to be. I'm just going to cut calories, or did you kind of meet it halfway with the steps too?
Steps in the beginning, no, wasn't like a main objective of mine. It was purely just workout and try and eat the right amount of calories and protein and stuff. And then I kind of hit a point where what I was doing wasn't enough. And the next step was right, you need to get your steps. And literally that was the next step. Um,
Literally.
but like, and that's something that I struggle with even now. Like, just because my job, I'm sitting at a desk, I'm on a computer. I need to get out and do 40, 50 minute walks to just get the minimum, just to get 10,000. Now, like when I was working at home during COVID, I would actually like walk around the house. Like I would be up and down the kitchen and the sitting room, like everyone would like wouldn't come into the sitting room or the kitchen because I'd be in there with my music on, and I'd just be walking up and down probably for 2 hours just getting steps in. So that was a big thing that I changed as well. But the main thing was just being able to do a class was an achievement for me. Like,
Huge, honestly. Like your journey has been more than physical. Like, big mental journey. Something I would be interested to know, obviously, just actually based on what you just said there. Why not go outside for a walk?
um, just the convenience of being at home. Just
Fair
like,
enough.
I couldn't be bothered going outside. I'll just do it here.
Did that have anything to do with confidence?
It's possible, yeah. It could also, be like if it's raining, I couldn't be bothered going out in the rain. I'll just stay at home. But yeah, confidence thing would be another thing. Like I go for walks maybe at night, and like you wouldn't bump into anyone. Um, but yeah, you wouldn't catch me walking like during the day. I think it was like further along in my journey, like you and Chloe were out and you seen me walking. But that was at that point I was probably a bit more confident, but back then no.
Yeah. And what other kind of elements changed for you when you were losing the weight in terms of your mindset? Like how did losing weight affect you mentally?
Oh, I mean, massively, massively like confident boost. I like when you talk to people in the gym now that I would get on with, well, they didn't really know me before we made the move to the HVU because I was in the office. I didn't have a lot of confidence, so I wouldn't like go out and chat to people. Like that's the last thing I wanted to do. I class myself as an introvert. But just from working in the gym, being around you guys, and like just the confidence from like the journey that I've been on, has just given me so much more confidence now that like even chatting to like a stranger, like one of my like nightmares would be a new person coming into the gym, and like I'm the only one there. I'm like, oh no, into the office so they don't see me. But
Hilarious.
now, not like it's not in there. It's just yeah.
That's super interesting. And how about self-esteem and self-respect from doing the work? Like, do you have more confidence and faith in yourself now that you kind of have this backlog of the work has been done? I am the kind of man now that does the work. So if I'm faced with a challenge, it's not, oh no, I can't do it, but rather, right, let's bloody go.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge as well because like lately I've become more out there with what I'm doing in the gym, that I can't fall back on, oh no, I can't do that because of this. You know what I mean? I've kind of overcome all those obstacles now, that there really isn't anything that will hold me back from like doing like you were saying about like running, like doing like hopefully doing the Jamaican 5K now next few weeks. Like back then, like a year or two ago, I wouldn't have thought of doing anything like that. But just where I've come to now, to the point that I have confidence in the fitness that I've achieved, and the weight that I've lost, that is something I can do.
Yeah. And that's kind of stepping into the growth mindset territory. So it's just more so like, why wouldn't I be able to, is kind of the mentality. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's no reason
Yeah.
why not.
Yeah, this is it. Like, I mean, if I could lose 50 kilo. Surely I could tip away for 20 minutes or 30 minutes of a run or whatever it is. Yes, amazing. And so that's kind of the mental transformation is super important to kind of to understand that. Listen, even though I'm not capable of doing it currently, why am I putting limits on myself? And often enough, the limits come from personal experience. You tried it a couple of times, but then, we failed. And so, okay, that's what I'm like. I must be a failure because that's my history. And so that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why coaches are so important to push. It's like, hey, listen, I've seen many people in your situation before. You can do this. No, I can't. You can do it. No, I can't. Fucking do it. Right. And it's like, okay, right, fine, I'll do it. And then it's not until that you have that what would you say, proof, evidence that you are capable of change, that then you can start to apply that across most things.
Yeah.
And so obviously then Pete, new confident Pete, he got a lady, he fell in love. Do you feel like your physical and fitness journey had much to do with that, or do you think that might have happened anyway?
Um, I think from my side of things, it wouldn't have happened because I didn't feel the confidence in myself that anyone would ever look at me like in that sort of way. Like my wife Jo, who is amazing, has said that even before I started on my fitness transformation, she always had a thing for me. But like, and it's true. Like she said, like I loved you as a person. I loved like she liked me for who I was, not because of physically how I was. Like my transformation had no effect on how she felt about me. You know what I mean? So that side of things was fine, but it was my confidence in myself that I felt I could put myself out there and
Mm.
take the risk and fall in love.
Get out of the friend zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because this is it. It's a two-way street. It's like if you don't, if you're not presenting yourself as an attractive character, it's like you can be getting flirted with and you just be shutting her down. Oh, listen, it's not me, or whatever like that. And that's amazing. It's fantastic. And
Yeah.
now you guys are married. You look absolutely dapper on your wedding day. Like it was incredible to kind of get to be there and to be part of the journey. And that would be my report. Obviously, I didn't know the dynamic that you and Joe kind of had before, but I could see you pushing your comfort zone, getting wider and getting more confident. As I said, talking to people and that kind of stuff. And then to hear that you and Joe were going away on a trip to London and like to see is kind of getting pally pally and buddy buddy and a little bit more intimate and stuff like from the outside looking in, it just seemed to have this kind of snowball effect. And Pete's getting his act together, he's getting his life together, he's starting to smash his goals, he's starting to chase the things that maybe he would have otherwise kind of just backed away from. So it's amazing to think that like it's not just about lifting weights, even though I'm sure. When Joe sees the video, you deadlifting 232 kilos, like that's my man.
Yeah.
Um,
You've commented that under certain videos, yeah.
there you go. This is it. And again, there is that element to it of kind of having the confidence from the works and from having the body, but the mind has to change first, and you have to do the work in order to kind of be able to step into the confidence. Really, really a crazy, crazy journey that you've been on, Pete, and it's been amazing to be a part of it. So something I want to ask you next is obviously our three pillars are fitness, nutrition, and accountability. How much accountability do you feel like you needed? What kind of role did accountability play for you in your transformation?
I think that the fact that I was in the gym like pretty much most of the time during the week was a huge factor in the results that I was able to achieve. Having you and the lads, like just like literally, I had a goal review like almost every day for I don't know how long. Like you and there was not like there was reasons why like I just wasn't doing the work. I was going to the classes, but that was about it. Like at the start, I knew it always just be on my case, and I remember just like I don't want to. The brand's gonna be there's gonna ask me did I do this, did I do that, but you kind of wore me down, and that's just what it took. I just needed that extra bit of accountability, and I still do. It's like we have our chance, maybe not as often as we used to, but still you check in on me and you make sure I'm on the straight and narrow. And if it wasn't for that, like I would definitely wouldn't have achieved the results that I've gotten now.
Yeah, big time. And there was a period of time that you maybe weren't the most honest about your weighing reports. There was a time where, again, like, and it's tough because, as a coach you want to put pressure on people because diamonds are forged under pressure, but you don't want to put too much pressure on people that you feel like you're pushing them past their limits. And there was a while where you're literally falsifying your weightings because you couldn't do the work, and obviously that was a bit of a hurdle as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I would get to a certain point where it's like, right, I'm so proud, like I've lost all this weight, and then it would start to either just stay the same or would start to creep back up. And I think I got into a certain point where I was like, I don't want to, like, never mind me, I don't want to let anyone down. That's just the way losing more weight, getting better. So I was like, right, if I say it's this much I've lost, I'll eventually catch up with it. And it went on for that long that I was like, there's no way I can catch up with this now. And I just, yeah, there was just one of those like points you were just like looking, it's like, spot check. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, here we go.
it was like, hey, for man and Susan wait every week, I'll be honest with you, you look very the same.
You
And
look the same.
it's that's a hard call to make. It's a very, very hard call to
Yeah.
make because obviously you want to trust people. You don't want to be scrutinizing people and calling them liars. But you know, it's you've got your story, I've got my story. It's it's tough for everybody to kind of get on the same page. But and as well, you don't want to insult somebody. It's like, oh, bro, by the way, you look like you haven't changed that much. I don't want to
Yeah.
discredit your results or whatever like that. But I remember saying, here, let's do a wee spot check here.
Yeah.
And again, that's what accountability is all about. Because, as I said, that's one of the reasons why it's a core pillar for us. Because we expect people to be fallible. Like I'm accountable, me personally, to Stephen, to every one of my clients, and obviously to myself. Because as a coach, I have an identity, I have a reputation to live up to. People have certain expectations of me and my results, and that's what keeps me accountable. And that is one of the only reasons that I'm successful. And yeah, I wanted to put that pressure on you, and that was again the start of it. Again, like even though it was a tough conversation for both of us to have, I think it really did kind of help you come on. And if you could do it again, w- would you be honest up front? How would you respond differently? Maybe there's somebody right now and they're in a similar situation, because I'm sure you're not the only one who's ever falsified away. And I actually know of two other cases, the people that kind of came clean to me were like, I'm sorry, I just couldn't. I wasn't ready to do the work, and I also didn't want to face the music.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, like because you be on a journey for so long and you're losing the weight and you're getting the pats in the back and you're like, all right, I don't want to disappoint them now, and like I'm not doing good, but like I don't want to like upset them, and it's like that's nothing compared to not hitting your goals and like not being happy with where you're at. Like you should be number one. Like you should be concerned about like who you are and what you're doing right now, not about how like your coach is going to feel if you're not losing weight. I mean, the coach at the end of the day, wants you to be honest and upfront, and like you're not going to be able to achieve anything if you're not honest with yourself. And that's what I was doing. I was just going around like I was able to do whatever I wanted then because as far as the coach knew, I was doing great.
Yeah.
So you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah, and the other side of it as well is like, again, sometimes people kind of they can project onto other people. And so, people project a persona of maybe like the hard ass gym coach that they have. And if you have a good coach, like if you had a came clean to me, my response would be like I think, like again, for example, when you came clean to me, the response was, right, back we go, let's start again. It's like
Yeah.
it's not gonna be a flogging, it's not gonna be, oh, I fucking can't believe that you not losing weight. It's like, hey, listen,
Yeah,
man, I
yeah.
get it. Like coaches are people too, and hopefully, if you've got a good coaches, like they understand that it's not supposed to be perfect. And if you want a diet break for 4 to 9 weeks, like we can do that too. Let's focus on maintenance. Again, that's something that I just wanted to something I wanted to bring up because I feel like, as I said, it's happened on multiple occasions, and you are a success story coming out the other side of it. Putting the head down and doing the work, coming from a place that you feel like what is it? What is it? What is it? There's a quote in Macbeth, something like, my hands are so soaked in blood, it would be as easy to carry on as to go back.
Look at you quoting Shakespeare, huh?
Yep, yep, yep. Honestly, it's not just about lifting weights. You know what I mean?
That's my coach.
But so again, it's Macbeth. There's a wonderful play. We read it in secondary school, but that quote has always stuck with me because the idea that the way forward, which is worse, can be sometimes as painful as going back. But we
Yeah.
know what the right thing to do is, and that's like, listen, just because it's tough doesn't mean. Sometimes you got, like, I remember Stephen also said it. He said Stephen is a great man for quotes. Another quote he said, just because you dug yourself a hole doesn't, like, you can stop digging.
Yeah.
Like, put down the fucking shovel. You know what I mean? It's like, you
Yeah.
dug the hole. Let's just stop. We don't need to keep digging. Let's just call it a day. Put our hands up and let's start back on track. So
Yeah.
yeah, Pete, you've had a real amazing journey. We are done with the hardcore questions. So we're going to move into a little bit of the lighter stuff now. So first things first, running. You did mention running. How do you feel about running these days? Obviously, you're a little bit lighter on your feet now. You have some goals for the Dromiskian 5K. What's your relationship kind of prior to training with running, if any? Obviously PE class. We're going back. Maybe any games of football, any history at all of sports or running, versus kind of how you feel about it and where you are with it now.
Like in school, my fitness would have been pretty good. I've always kind of been slightly on the heavy side, but because I was active in school, that's what kind of kept the weight from getting like to a really bad place. And then obviously after school, then I didn't have any because I didn't play sports really. I might have once or twice played rugby with Dundalk, just on the off chance. That was about it. Um, but no running experience at all. Didn't No walking experience really. Didn't really go out for walks. So when the introduction of running, when we were able to move over to the big space, like I hated when there was running the workouts. Hated it. Because I mean cardio wise it just wasn't up there fitness wise, but also like my joints just couldn't take the impact. Um so it was a real struggle for me. But obviously it's gotten easier now with the weight coming off. And obviously I've gone through a few different um treatments for the psoriasis. So the one that I'm on now has really I don't really get any joint pain anymore. But that's a combination of that and also working out in the gym and losing the weight and the diet change. So like running now isn't as big a deal now as it used to be. I mean, if you said to me, "Oh, Pete, can you go like run like 3 or 4K?" Like, okay. I mean, it's not gonna be easy, but I can do it.
Bit of a sweat fest, right? But not going to cause you any pain.
Exactly, yeah.
And how is the bone health now and the joint pain? Is it all completely gone? Do you put that down to the treatment? Do you put it down to the weight training? Do you put it
I
down to the
think
weight loss
I think
combination?
it's a combination of everything. The only time I'll get joint pain is if that's like maybe I've done something in the gym that I've overdone it in the weights. So, and thankfully, like obviously, you mentioned about me going down like on my days off in the gym on the Wednesday and lifting heavy. Like that didn't like I think that helped me as well. Like strengthening my joints, just getting heavy weights on my back, really strengthened the joints. Whereas like I remember you asked me to squat one time upstairs and I couldn't do it. Not because my flexibility wasn't there, but literally my knees couldn't take the pain of holding that position.
Mm.
Now, I mean, it's no problem for me now.
You're an absolute machine, Pete. It really is amazing to see how far you come, and I think that that's one of the more interesting elements of weight training these days. And we actually hopefully have somebody else coming on the podcast with a little bit more of a, not more of it, but also a bone density improvement from weight training. So again, anybody out there with kind of arthritis that is looking for a way out, like the studies are showing that if you want to improve bone density, weight training is the way forward. Something that I always kind of reference and something that I always think about is astronauts. So if once you leave Earth's gravitational pull and it's not real, well, maybe you're in orbit, let's say, but gravity's not compressing the bones. astronauts lose bone density, they actually have to engage in weight training in order to maintain that bone density, because if you don't have the compression, the bones will just atrophy the same way a muscle does. And that's why now, if you're looking for joint health and longevity, you need to weight train. And science, yeah, science, science for the medicine that made you well, science for the studies and the research that made you weight train and made us include weight training as a big part of what we do. So, we've an awful lot to be grateful for in that regard, because where we're moving in terms of modern medicine and sports science is really, really incredible. And hopefully, we can help change more people's lives. And if you're out there and you're suffering, you're listening to this, you don't have to be in pain anymore. So get in touch with a exercise professional and start your bone density journey today. So what other supplements do you take, Pete, or do you take any supplements along with your good nutrition strategy?
The way it's just protein and creatine. And
Caffeine?
creatine can't, well, yeah. See,
No,
I would,
oh,
yeah, I guess that is a supplement. I mean, I would take like a pre-workout
I guess
shot.
the supplement. Take it away. See how much of a supplement it is.
Exactly, yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, because, well, at the start, it was when I used to do the morning shift. Like, I'd be sitting down the whole time, and I would need something to just get me up and going for the class, because otherwise it'll be like a slog. So, and I just gotten used to that. So I use that just as a supplement for workout, and it gets the juices flowing.
Class. And so whey protein, creatine,
Yeah,
creatine every day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what about flavor protein? What's your favorite flavor of protein?
Well, I always, for the tubs, I always got the French vanilla.
French
Um,
vanilla creme.
I'm plain Jane. Um,
That's a bit French. Ah, French
there's a
vanilla.
bit of a flavor to it, yeah.
French.
It's exotic.
What was that word you said earlier on? It's on trend. What's that word?
Oh, very demure.
Demure. Hilarious. All
Um,
right, cool. So yeah, so that's our supplements. What about your favorite unplanned meal? What's your the meal you look forward to the most that you know is kind of going to still keep you on track?
Favorite meal at the minute is, like, I love the fit meals. So I go between fit food, and there's also the pure power ones that you can get in Duns. But at the minute, my number one is home meal spaghetti and meatballs. I've gotten you onto them as well.
That slaps. It is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Not only is it the best, what would you say, food prep meal that you could buy. It is literally one of the nicest spaghetti bolognese I've ever had. Like, it
Yeah.
is incredible.
Like, it's not just
By the way,
nice for a
don't.
pre-made meal. It's actually just one of the nicest meals.
It's class, 100%. That's a good shout. And what about cheat meals or treats? What's your kind of much of a sweet tooth? Are you more of a savory man?
I'm a bit of both. Like, when it comes to cheap meals, like, there's not many options living out here in Loud Village. You've Angelo's, which is the chipper, or you've and Shan Garden, which is the Chinese. So, but I do love a good dirty Chinese.
Dirty Chinese. Lay down
Dirty
that order.
Chinese.
Ring, ring. What are we getting?
I'll be there in 5 minutes.
What are you getting?
Um, See, it depends. If I want to go absolutely crazy,
Oh yeah, go crazy. Tell us all.
see, still, again, it's still pretty plain in terms of like Chinese. So it's like chicken fried rice, curry sauce, chicken balls, maybe some salt and chili chicken. Yeah, all the good stuff.
Prawn crackers.
Depends on where you go. There's only one or two places I like the prawn crackers.
Okay, fair enough.
Some
Yeah,
some of them can be really like skinny and kind of brittle, where I like them kind of like almost like crisps, or they're
yeah.
like thick. So
Big cups to hold my curry and
you
rice.
can skip the rice up, yeah.
100%. Love it. Yeah, I'd probably be something similar to yourself. What about favorite workout song? What song gets you absolutely amped to bits and pieces? You have to hit a PB. What are we putting on?
Well, back in the HPU, like, whenever I was going for a deadlift PB, it would be "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine, and I literally had, like, I was talking to you the other day about it, I literally had like my routine down. Like, there were certain parts of the song, like when the song started, the belt went on, and then when another part of the song started, like the raps go on under the bar, and then as soon as like the chorus like hit, that's when I started my lift. and it was just
That's
like
class.
everything I got into, and I was just that's it's a real you might know it from it's from the Matrix. So it's at the end of
Nice.
the Matrix when Neo flies up into the air. So it's just like a real it's a heavy rock song, like, but it's class.
It is class. You did play it for me. I kind of do know like the procedure, how it builds, and like each bit is. It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
So with that said, would you want that song put on the Fighting Fit playlist, or would you pick a different playlist or pick a different song? Because as a thank you for jumping onto the podcast and telling us all about your secrets, we'll throw a song on the playlist for you. What would you want it to be?
Ooh. See, I don't know if I put that on because then I don't know if other people would like it.
But again, so something I would say, never mind people's taste. I suppose the question is it does it start high energy and is it relatively high energy throughout the song? Because obviously you don't want to lull in the class. But like it's something high tempo, go for it.
I'd say like any AC/DC song.
Cool.
Just
What's your favorite?
I think we had during the class there. I think it was on either Thursday or Friday, and I was like, "What's going on?" And it's like, "Oh, Pete has the AC/DC playlist." I was like, "Yeah, it's different like to what you would hear in the gym. Like we play a lot of like dance music, like kind of like dubstep and all that, and it's nice to hear a bit of rock." So, what's my favorite AC/DC song? Probably "Shoot the Thrill."
Shoot to thrill.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. All right, Pete. Last question for you today. Somebody's sitting at home. They're on the edge. They want to start their journey. They want to start, but they're just nervous. Or maybe it's yourself. Maybe you're looking back in time, looking at yourself eye to eye in the mirror. What advice would you give to that person? They want to get started. They want to make the change. How do they do it?
I think you just have to go for it. Like you have to find obviously like a place like ourselves that um, if you're like me who needs a lot of accountability, like Python Fit is like the perfect place you can go to. Like you and Chris and Sam and Steve. Like it's just you care so much about people's journeys that you're not just you're not just another person that's walking into the gym. Like there's so much investment that people don't even realize behind closed doors. Us like we're so invested in people's journeys and making sure that we celebrate everything that people do. So like to get to come to a place like that, you're guaranteed if you put the work in, you're guaranteed to get the results. 100%.
Cool. Pete, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Obviously, I'll chat to you on Monday. I'll see loads of you. But I do really appreciate you taking the time and kind of putting yourself out there because I appreciate that, put yourself in a podcast and telling everybody about your story. But as I said, like, listen, nothing to be ashamed of, just a stride of pride nearly, Obviously, you're not done yet. What's the next big goal for you now?
Well, the next thing is the Dromiskin 5K. That'll be my first official like 5 kilometers. I've only ran 5 kilometers twice up until the point of us recording this now. And I actually have the shoes I'm going to wear during the 5K. There's actually space on it for me to write like date and time. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that. Yeah, that's to lose and also drop a bit more weight, so they're running a little bit easier. But yeah, the
What
Dromiskin
do you
5K
think? Far are you away? How much do you have left?
to lose. I think was it? I think another 10 kilos.
Class. Unbelievable. I'm excited to take part in the journey and be there alongside you. High fives again. Maybe we'll do another podcast when you've completed your weight loss journey. But again, guys, I just want to say thanks to Pete and thanks to you at home for listening. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enjoy these kinds of conversations. If you do, there's plenty more in the backlog. There's plenty more on the way. You can get them on YouTube. Make sure you like the video. It really helps us out. Comment your thoughts on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you want a notification when we do make a video. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we even have a TikTok channel. So if you want to get in touch and you want to change your life, you're local enough, or maybe you want to work with us online, you can get us on www.fightingfitnation.com. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Signing off. Peace.